Yo, what's up? I'm Algister, and welcome back to my channel where I like to talk about all things spooky, scary, and have a little bit of fun. Today on the channel, we're going to be talking about all of the news in the 2 brand new spec maps for Halloween Horror Nights. We're going to be talking about Orlando, we're going to be talking about Hollywood, we're going to be talking about Horror Night Nightmares, leaks from all our favorite leakers, and so much more. Yeah, I'm a little bit late on this speculation drop, but this thing came out literally as soon as I got sick, so I slept all that off, and now here I am to talk about the news. Today we're going to be talking about Terrifier, we're going to be talking about Friday the 13th, Poltergeist, Scream, Five Nights at Freddys, Megan, The Conjuring, and so much more. There's just so many rumors going around the rumor mill right now. Between all of those rumors that we're going to be talking about and the spec maps that are going to be involved, it might not hurt to go look back through all my old videos I've made on my Horror Night speculation this year to figure out exactly how we got here. And you heard me right, we're going to be adding Friday the 13th to our list of IPs speculated to be coming to the event this year today. I know that might sound crazy, but we're going to be discussing that, these maps, the guy that makes these maps, and so much more today, so let's lock in and dive on into it. To start our rumors and speculation today, we're gonna head on over to Mel's diein. Recently, Universal Orlando put out an ad asking for scare actors to apply who were particularly good on roller skates, and there's been a lot of speculation going around that we could be getting some kind of a Mel's diein scare zone here. Construction has even seemingly started on a scare zone like this. Could you imagine how cool this thing would be? The Mel's Diner and the flavor that it brings is something beloved and cherished by Horror Nights fans. This would be some great, easy coming fan service. That's right, we could be getting our very own Mel's Scare Zone house, something to that effect, probably a scare zone. This is something I truly cannot believe that they've never done before. It could be in part to them wanting to put people on roller skates for this, for that old classic diner vibe, but I'm really excited to see how they take this, how it turns out. This could be really cool. It could be some great fan service. This next rumor we're going to talk about may be one you want to take with a grain of salt, but it also may be one that you've been really excited to hear. This user writes, Terrifier fans, get ready. So I just saw a YouTube video saying the commercial for the announcement has been created. Preview merchandise is coming in, and Terrifier is going to be the very first announcement in May before Epic opens. They also said that we will be getting a clown cafe. Really hope that this is legit. Alright, so we cannot be too quick to take anything like this at face value. Aside from Mr. Pinhead, I Know More Than You, Legacy, and the Horror Night Nightmares guys, I don't really take anything that's thrown out there like that too lightly. YouTubers will say all kinds of stuff for clicks. Not me, of course. I only report exactly things as I see them to you guys so that we can all come together and make our decisions together. I would never lie to you and tell you outright that something's just gonna be there and that it's gonna be coming. Nothing's absolutely official until it's announced. I'm just reporting to you what's going around the rumor mill, you know what I mean? But this is something that is going around the rumor mill, so if we see something come out about Terrifier soon, you heard it first here, folks, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Alright guys, Rumor Court is back in session. Let's check out these brand new speculation maps over from Horror Night Nightmares. We got Orlando, and we've got Hollywood. Obviously, some of these things are going to be shared, some of them will not be, so we're going to take them one by one here. And I know everyone's just dying to get these teeth sunk into this juicy news. Since these maps have been around for a little while now, and this is more of an update video on the whole thing, I'm going to check out what the community is saying and kind of give my thoughts as we go. So take a good look at these maps real quick. Take them in, we're gonna come back to them later. But these comments here seem close enough to the speculation that I've been following for me to just kinda tack on here, so let's kick at it. Starting first for Orlando, this user writes, based on community speculation, shared houses with Hollywood denoting IPs and my personal guesses, this is what I have in clockwise order. The ghost light bulb is most likely Poltergeist or The Conjuring. Either would be fun. Yeah, I've seen a lot of rumors floating around about both Poltergeist and The Conjuring. Previously, on the last spec map, this icon was a little spyglass with a ghost inside of it, now being changed to a light bulb. There were some arguments going around last time that this could have been Scream because of the spyglass and the ghosts, seemingly nodding to that the films were made by Spyglass Entertainment, and that they're a whodunit trying to figure out who the ghost face is. But alas, the light bulb could be alluding to a similar thing, like an idea going off as if they've figured out that it's going to be Ghostface. The Conjuring also matches all these same clues, and it's something that I've been hearing about coming to HHN for a while now. And Poltergeist is a little bit of a newer rumor. We'll talk about this a little bit more when we talk about Hollywood, but yes, it seems that HHN could be bringing back the much beloved Poltergeist house. I know, I'm not saying the Scream's gone just yet. Hold your horses, we'll talk about that more later in the video. The trash bags are almost unanimously Terrifier. The book plus snowflakes, I have no idea. My educated guess is Scary Tales Christmas edition, or my really out there guess would be The Shining, since last year showed me me that both events don't exclusively have to have the same IP. The thumbs up is Fallout, and the broadcasting tower is new and interesting. I'm guessing HR Blood and Guts, and I'd welcome a wholly new original. For another interesting take that I've seen on this one, Legacy writes, more HHN thoughts. What if the speculated TV station house is actually Jimmy Fallon's To Nightmares? Scenes that could be in the Orlando version. Darkest Deal, Jimmy signs the Tonight Show contract. Cinema, Jimmy and Queen Latifah in a taxi. Wicked Growth, The Roots jamming out. And The Fallon, Jimmy as a gothic demon. Now there's an interesting take. The Tonight Show Nightmares thing does seem fun, but I'd much more rather them turn that building into something like that, maybe as like a people eater for the event, as like a side experience, and definitely not as much as a full-on haunted house. Hopefully this is just something completely original here. Chains and Tombstones still indicate that Hatchet and Chains is coming, which is interesting how fast the turnaround would be from Slaughter Cinema Vignette to Full House. This one right here definitely has to be Hatchet and Chains, and I don't really think that it'd be too crazy for the turnaround to be this quick. The Yeti houses came in really fast right after that original Slaughter Cinema. And I've seen some people argue that the Yeti house isn't directly inspired by the Swamp Yeti because they use different geographical areas rather than just the swamp, but who knows how that history will influence how they're going into Hatchet and Chains here. It could be slightly different from the one room that we saw in Slaughter Cinema, or maybe this time around they'll stick right by the book and they'll just absolutely expand that out. Maybe that room itself will be present in the house, who knows. Ship sailing still tells me Poseidon's Fury, please, ancient Greece or some kind of a Viking's house. The coffin in what can only be interpreted as a wall from a wrestling ring is WWE. I've heard Wyatt family and Undertaker. It could be a Versus house, but who knows? I don't really keep up with it. That's right, boys and ghouls, WWE is back on the menu. Now, I personally was really surprised to see the first rumor of this going around. I was not very surprised to see the rumor disappear. But I mean, you look at this coffin with these 3 lines behind it, and what does this say to you? This looks like a coffin and some ring ropes. I do not think that this would be based on the Undertaker. I think that this would still be based on the Bray Wyatt thing, the whole Firefly Funhouse and the Wyatt 6. And while yes, the coffin is commonly associated with the Undertaker, Bray Wyatt passed, so it kind of makes sense there too. The thing would be a tribute to a recently fallen wrestler. The surveillance cam is absolutely Five Nights at Freddy's. Adding on to the Five Nights at Freddy's hype, a user tweeted at John Murdy saying, a little bird told me that the tent for the T-pad building went up, and here they use a fox, a robot, a pizza, and a microphone as emojis, definitely alluding to Five Nights at Freddy's here. And John Murdy responds, yes, it told me the same thing. Previously, the same user had tweeted a very similar tweet at John Murdy, to which John Murdy responded that he definitely understood what these emojis were standing for. Does this mean anything? Well, Pinhead doesn't think so, but he also doesn't shut down whether or not he believes that Five Nights at Freddy's is finally coming to the event now. This could only be taken as good news to the Five Nights fans. And the Demon Skull, Angel Wings, Scythes buildings I'm hearing is Urban Inferno from HHN Hollywood 17, and I have no reason not to believe them because otherwise I have no idea. Another thing that I'd like to throw into the ring for this original house here is that some people were saying this could be like a Batilda kind of house, heavily inspired by the tribute store that we saw recently. I think that that would be really cool. But the wings here being angel wings and not necessarily bat wings kind of throws me off to that one a little bit. I'd also like to throw out that Orlando did have an apocalypse scare zone in this area years and years ago, and that was really cool. I wonder if they'll do a throwback to that in some way. This user even speculates that maybe it could have something to do with the Weekend Nightmare trilogy, relating the symbol to the facade inside. The weekend houses that we've seen at HHN so far were absolute hits, and I'm sure that people would love to see this coming back to the event. The party atmosphere that it brings is just absolutely unmatched. We've seen a lot of musical style things at the event over the years, and this one was just one of the greats. Honestly, who knows what they're doing with this one though. I'm excited to see it come to fruition and finally get announced. Maybe when we finally get it at the end of the day, it won't even have any relation to this weird icon that they put here, and it'll just leave us all surprised. Alright, so obviously some things have moved around here and some things have changed completely. It's important to keep in mind that things do change. There's things that we think we may be getting early in spec season that just fall short, fall through, or maybe have to be substituted. And there's some things where maybe we think we're getting one thing and it turns out that we were just catching threads for something totally different altogether, you know what I mean? Things change throughout speculation season. That's kind of the fun of chasing these things down. But I also have to remind you guys that the 11 to 12 house rumor is still on at this point. We haven't really heard too much about all that. They're not really popping up on these speculation maps at all, but I still think we could get them. The most likely outcome of us having 11 to 12 houses is us having an 11th house added, with it being Insidious returning from last year. This is something that HHN has done in the past when they wanted to raise the number of houses up, having one return return from the year previously. It's not something they always do, but it's something that they have done, and it wouldn't be too out of the ordinary for them. But let's see what's going on over at Hollywood. Maybe that'll give us even more introspective into all this. Taking a look now at the Hollywood speculation map, we're going to do the same thing that we did for the first one. Here's another comment that I thought was pretty close to the trail that I've been following. This user writes, "For the upper lot, we've got the Oob venue. The icon appears to be a coffin in front of a wrestling ring, possibly hinting at a WWE theme. Though it is unlikely, I was thinking that it could be about Luchadors Monstroso. Luchadores Monstroso? Okay, I know I couldn't have said that right. This is another highly possible guess at what this could be alluding to here. We've seen the monstrous luchador masks at HHN before, and it would be cool to see them in a full house, and I would also be interested in seeing them bringing that over to Orlando. It'd be very easy to get these lines crossed in the rumor spectrum. For the Persian courtyard, they write, the doll icon possibly hints at La Isla de las Munches. Wow, okay. Making me look bad today, apparently. H-Lot Tent 1, security camera. Everyone seems to agree that this is a reference to Five Nights at Freddy's. Personally, I think it's Saw. Now, I know a lot of people would be very upset to find out that Five Nights at Freddy's is not coming to the event, but Saw would be pretty cool to see too. We've had it a few times already, and it's just always a good vibe. They're nasty and gritty, and they really make you feel at home at HHN. H-Lot Tent 2, light bulb ghost. Based on facade construction, it could be Poltergeist. Yes, I did mention we were coming back to this over on Hollywood, and here's a little post that I think is kind of interesting. HHN 365 writes, there's no denying at this point that Poltergeist is coming to HHN Hollywood. As we can see, this facade structure is pretty much an exact match to 2018's Poltergeist house facade. And you know what? They're right. Could this be a house facade based on the blueprints of that one for another one? It's very possible. Could they be recycling these materials? Also possible. But we're definitely leaning to getting Poltergeist at least HHN Hollywood this year. And if we are getting it in Hollywood, does that mean that the light bulb ghost is the same thing over in Orlando? And we're going to be getting a remastered version of some sort of that Poltergeist house we just received not too long ago? We can't be too sure, but these facades definitely look similar. Terror Tram. The circus tent definitely screams killer clowns. I personally think that it could be Hollywood Harry, but I wouldn't be opposed to a Sweet Licks themed one. For the lower lot, in the Mummy queue, we have Terrifier. Perhaps the two trash bags could hint that the first two movies could be a critical focus of the house, since both movies are set during Halloween. T-Pad, the hat icon and house construction indicate that this could be a Scarecrow house. People are convinced it's a repeat of the 2022 house. I personally think that it could be a sequel, or maybe even a Murder of Crows crossover. Soundstage 15. Thumbs up icon could only be Fallout. Question is whether it'll be an adaptation of the TV show or the games. I think this year is a really good point. We definitely don't know just yet what they're going to be doing. Recently, with the success of The Last of Us, we got The Last of Us house, but they did decide to base it directly off of the video games rather than the TV show. And in the past, when it's come to things like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, we've mostly gotten the video games when it comes to those things. So if I had to put my money out and guess, I'd guess that it's probably going to be based off of a video game. Towards the beginning of the year, we heard that there was going to be another house based off of a video game IP coming this year. Most of us thought that it was going to be The Last of Us, but here it is. We're getting Fallout at HHN. It's only a matter of time before this thing gets announced. Alright, so I have one more really big piece of news to talk to you guys about, but first, how do you guys feel about these map translations? Keep in mind again that things have been bouncing in and out of speculation all over the place. Like, there's a lot of things that we were pretty sure we're going to be getting that we're just not seeing anything lining up for here. There's also things that we never thought were in the realm of possibility that we're starting to see pop up. A few IPs that we haven't seen any inklings of on these maps that I still would absolutely not be surprised to see would be Scream, Megan, Insidious. These are IPs that if they were to announce them like tomorrow per se, I absolutely would not be shocked or surprised, even though we don't see anything for them on these spec maps. The way that all these houses are being moved around these spec maps and the way that all of these themes are being changed over and over again kind of make me think that we just really don't know exactly what's coming this year just yet. In the last few years prior, there's normally most of this that we have pretty nailed down pretty early, and this time around it seems like everything just keeps changing. Maybe that's due in part to Epic Universe being about to open up and contracts being constantly negotiated with all these IPs, but who knows? We're bound to find out sooner or later. It's also totally within the realm of possibility that some of these things that we thought could be houses could actually be coming in scare zone form, or maybe a show or something else to that effect. Often when we hear things coming in the rumor mill, we immediately associate them with haunted houses, and there's also scare zone shows and all kinds of other things that they could be. But are you guys ready for your big news update of the day? Because man, this definitely shakes up Everything that we've been talking about so far. And I wish I could have put it at the beginning of the video, but I just had to put it here because it only makes sense chronologically. So for our big surprising news of the day, I gotta tack this rumor onto things. Though it doesn't fit on any of these spaces that we've looked at in these speculation maps, there's enough validity behind what I'm about to share with you guys to make me think that Friday the 13th could be coming to the event this year. One of the guys that make the spec maps got so excited about this that he had to blow it up on Twitter before he could even put it on the map itself. Here he writes, "This was kind of my big surprise for Spec Map 3.0, but guess it deserves its own post. HHN house rumor. The iconic horror slasher Jason Voorhees might be returning to the event this year, and getting his own house. It is unknown whether this house would be based on a specific movie or a best of, similar to HHN's Texas Chainsaw Legacy of Leatherface house last year. I've heard more than a few whispers of Jason returning, so here's to hoping. Also, I believe it will be located in the Fast and Furious queue." Someone took this rumor to the HHN Discord and wrote, "Do you think Friday the 13th is actually coming? That's a dream IP of mine. That and Terrifier would solidify the lineup. And wouldn't you know it, I know more than you. Old Mr. Pinhead, our favorite HHN leaker, chimes in on this one. He says, I do. That was actually the first IP info I got for this year, way back in November. I feel pretty confident in it at the moment." So Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees could be coming to the event, and they're not exactly sure if it's going to be a specific movie or if it could be kind of a collaboration of all of them. But man, I don't even want to think about it being about any of that new stuff that they're doing with Friday the 13th. In case you haven't heard, they're thinking about doing a prequel series of Friday the 13th, and I just do not understand why we need that. The whole mythos around Jason Voorhees has always been that he was just like a poor, abused, picked on child that died, and then his mom went absolutely crazy and killed a bunch of people. I don't really see how you can draw up a prequel to that. That's just not something I'm interested in watching. Please do not let that bleed over into Horror Nights. Some sort of a mashup house like the Texas Chainsaw one in Hollywood or that Chucky one that we got recently would be a lot cooler, and I would enjoy that a lot more. But man, there are so many IPs bouncing around for this year. I truly do not know what we're going to be getting. Maybe when the next spec map comes out, maybe when I get some more rumors to update you guys on, we'll have some more information about what's coming. But what do you guys want to see? What do you want to see coming to the event this year? What are some IPs that you've been excited for since the beginning? What are some trails that you've been following that have maybe fallen out? What are some IPs or originals that we haven't even talked about yet that you'd be happy to see? However you're feeling about it, however you're feeling about these spec maps, and however you're feeling about Friday the 13th or Scream coming to the event, hit those comments down below and let me know. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. If you enjoyed my video today, be sure to send it over to a friend you think might enjoy it too. I'm still new over here on YouTube, so feel free to browse my catalog. You may find some other videos you like. But as always, I've been Eldritch Terror. Whether your day's been going good or bad today, I hope it gets better.